Alright, today we are going to be I'm going to show you how to make these tunnel cards. In the Victorian times, I think they called them peep cards, and they're made with layers, and they are just so cute. I don't know if you can see in there. They are just so cute. Now, that was my first one, my first attempt. This is my second attempt. I don't like all the green in it, but it did come out a little bit better to me. So this is the one I'm going to show you how to make a version of this, but I'm going to add some red to this green, and I'm going to change it up a little bit. So the first thing you're going to need, I used hot-pressed watercolor paper, 140 pound, and it is 9 by 12, and I just used a sheet of it, and I cut out 6 rectangles, and they are 3 inches by 2.5 inches. So that's 3 inches by 2.5 inches. Then I cut out 2 of these, which are 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And that's going to be your accordions. Then once you get those cut out, you'll want to do 1/4 of an inch from the edge and do a border, draw a border, because that's where your design is going to go inside of that border. And on your 5.5 inch by 2.5 inch paper, you're going to divide that by 1/2 inches. So I've already done that. You're going to need a bone folder, scissors, some kind of blade, obviously a ruler, pencil, then something I use tape, double-sided tape or tape glue, but you can also use just regular paper glue like Elmer's or something like that. Then you'll need something to color it with. You can use watercolor. If you use watercolor paper, you can use watercolor. You can use markers. You can use colored pencils. You can use gouache, whatever you want. Ink, doesn't matter. Whatever is up to you. So, and did I say pencil? Of course you're going to need a pencil. So let's get started. And I'm going to show you the steps that I've taken once you get everything cut out. Again, you're going to need 6 3 by 2.5. You're going to need 2 2.5 by 5.5, and then you'll need all your equipment. You'll need scissors, a blade, a ruler. Well, you'll need the ruler to make sure that you get everything, properly measured. A glue or glue tape, and something to decorate it with. And there we go. This is the one we're going to sort of do this one. This is the one. But I'm going to make some amendments to it. Alright, you got all your stuff gathered up. The next thing you do is you're going to need to draw out your design. Since I didn't use glue on this one, I just used the glue tape. We can take this one apart, and I'm going to take it apart to sort of show you how this is going to work. So this is your front cover. So one of your 2.5 by 3 pieces is going to be your front cover. I'm going to take this one off so that you can see how it goes. So that will be you'll make one into your front cover. Oh, let me pull this out a little bit so you can see. Alright, so you have one for your front cover. Then you'll have an intermediate one right after your front cover. Trying not to tear this. So you're going to want to do this in layers. And I'm just trying to show you how it's going to look. And of course, you'll have corresponding. This is how it's going to look. Here, we'll put these over. You know that these are going to be each one of your panels. So that's your front cover. That is the second cover. That is the third. The fourth. The fifth. And then your back cover, you'll want to paint on the whole thing. And that's your back cover. Now the unique thing about this, and then of course you have these. This is what these are going to be. So you'll have to fold these. And on the other side, I decorated these with some marker, some colored marker just to give it a little more pizzazz. You can decorate it or not. I didn't decorate this one, but this was my prototype, my very beginning one. So now you've got this. This is how it's going to look before you before you put it together. But what you want to do, the unique thing about this is you'll want to start from the back. So I'm going to switch all of these around. You're going to do the back first. You're going to color that first. And that one will take up the whole area. That's going to be the whole area. Then the second one, that you'll want that one to start about halfway of the frame. And then the third one, you'll want it to start a little bit less than half of the frame, so a little bit further down. Remember, you're going to be looking through the peephole, and you'll want to see these layers, but not the whole layer. You'll want to see those, so that'll be your third. And then your fourth layer, you'll want it start it about right, like less than 3/4 or about 3/4 of the way down. You'll want to start that one. Then this one that goes in the front, you'll want to do it right at the bottom, just right at the bottom. You can also include some frame elements if you want. And then the last one will be the frame. So when you put it together, it's going to go back, the very back one, that's going to be the whole panel covered. Then a half of a panel, then a little bit less than half of a panel. And then like 3/4 down you'll start. And then just right at the front, and then of course you'll have your cover. So that's how it is put together. And you're going to have to think backwards. So you're going to want to start with, the back, how you want your background to look, and then go from there with your layers. So what I did, I'm going to show you an example of how I did my prototype. And I'll put this back together in a little bit. We don't need it together right this minute. But I just made sketches for my lovebird one. And I didn't use some of these sketches, but I just made sketches of, this is how I wanted it to look in the end. It didn't come out exactly like this, where I have the two lovebirds sitting on branches, and then there's a little banner with a heart, which I have back there, but you can't see it because you just can't see it because I didn't put it up high enough. So you'll have to really think about how you want your layers and where you're going to put your elements on your layers. But that was my plan. It didn't quite come out that way. And then these are just some extra drawings. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to do 6 squares, and then you'll draw out your scene, starting with you'll want to start with your background and then work your way to the foreground. So I'm using this as my sort of pattern, how I want it to do. So I'm going to do my background first, but I'm going to change this one up just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start sketching everything out, and I will return shortly with all the sketches. You don't need to see me struggling with my sketches and all my erasing, but just know that you start from back, the very background, and work your way forward. All right, now when you cut these out, remember this is your background, so you don't want to cut anything out the background. And then this is your next layer that's going to go in front of your background. You'll want to cut out all of this white part. So you want to make your shapes as simple as possible. Mine's a little bit intricate, but I'm not going to cut exactly like this. I'm just going to do the best that I can. And you'll follow your line for your frame. You'll want to keep that frame in there. So you'll follow that line. And then you're wanting to cut around your other shapes. This is the tedious part. And that's what you will do on each one of these. Wherever it is not painted, that's what you'll want to cut out. So I'm going to cut these out and I'll be right back because it's going to take me a while to cut them out and y'all will be bored. But just trust me, cut all these out. Try to keep your shapes as simple as possible so that the cutting won't be too hard. I wanted to just give you a little tip. When you're cutting out the smaller areas, the rest of mine don't have really tiny areas, just this one does. Like these tiny areas in between the branches of the tree, cut those out first because you'll have more stability when you're cutting. If you cut those out last, then these won't, these will be thin little pieces and they will tear right off and then you'll lose your tree. So cut the insides of the smaller insides of your more intricate designs first before you cut the big background. That's my tip. We have 5 of our panels done. So we'll have our back panel and the next panel, which starts halfway. This one is a little less. I probably should have started it even a little bit further down. And then so that is our little scene, and this is going to be the cover, so we're going to do that next. And this is the cover that I did for the other fox, but I don't like this, so I'm going to do something different. Alright, so now you want to fold your long pieces into an accordion along those lines that you measured out. You know, like a fan, like you did in school. So once you get these all folded into a fan, you can go ahead and decorate them. And let me show you, let me show you on here. Once you put your back piece in, your background, and what you'll do is lay them flat towards you, and then you'll glue that, and then it'll be every other one like that's facing you. This one, this one, this one, this one that you decorate. Every other one. Because your back lays this way. And then every other one, the ones that are facing you, you decorate. You can also, let me take this off so you can see. You can also decorate the borders of each one of your seams, your little seams. I didn't do that on this one. You can. And then you will put your last one on the front thing. And then you will have your cute little tunnel box. Uh-oh, I don't have that one on tight. I think it's too far over. Yeah, it's too far over. It's got to line up or it won't work as well. So, there you go. That's how you do it. And remember, you can decorate those insides. See how you can decorate each one of those, which I recommend you do. And you can also do the outside, decorate the outside. But just to save time, I just showed you the simple way how to do it without all the extra. All right, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it.